The Monaco royal family has been through some major upheavals, and Princess Caroline has been at the center of it all. But who's been hit the hardest by these changes? What about Caroline herself? How has she managed to cope with the constant stream of tragedies and scandals? The truth is, Caroline's resilience is more surprising than you might think. From stepping up as Monaco's de facto First Lady at just 25 to navigating 3 tumultuous marriages, Caroline's life has been anything but a fairy tale. Yet she's managed to carve out a role for herself that goes beyond just being a princess. Princess Caroline's birth in 1957 marked a new chapter for Monaco's royal family, but life behind the palace walls was far from the fairy tale many imagined. On the surface, Caroline's childhood appeared idyllic. The magnificent prince's palace as her playground, a wardrobe fit for a storybook princess, and a public eager for glimpses of the cherubic child. However, sources close to the family revealed a stark contrast to this polished image. Caroline's parents, Prince Rainier III and Princess Grace, often remained distant figures in her daily life, their royal duties leaving little time for hands-on parenting. Instead, Caroline's world revolved around a rigid schedule of lessons, etiquette training, and carefully orchestrated public appearances. Into this void stepped Maureen Wood, Caroline's nanny and unexpected emotional anchor. Wood became more than just a caretaker. She was a confidant and source of warmth in an otherwise formal household. Caroline would cry and say, "Mummy's always away and Daddy's always busy," Wood revealed in a later interview. The pressure on Caroline to excel was relentless. From a young age, she was expected to master multiple languages, display impeccable manners, and represent the Grimaldi dynasty with poise beyond her years. Her education blended private tutoring within the palace and attendance at elite schools, where her royal status was a constant reminder of her unique position. These early experiences left an indelible mark on Caroline's outlook. As she grew older, she began to understand the weight of her position and the sacrifices it demanded. The carefree moments of childhood were few and far between, overshadowed by the looming responsibilities of her birthright. Caroline later reflected on this period with a mix of resignation and duty. "I think my brother and I have always been aware that we have to do what we have to do," she once stated in a rare interview. The young princess learned early that personal desires often had to be set aside for the greater good of Monaco. Her childhood, while materially privileged, came at the cost of emotional freedom and spontaneity. This upbringing shaped Caroline into a woman who understood the complexities of royal life all too well. As Caroline stood on the cusp of adulthood, the lessons of her childhood would be put to the test. The world outside the palace walls held its own set of trials, and Caroline was about to step into a life that would push her resilience to its limits. The challenges she faced in her formative years were just the beginning of a complex tale that would continue to unfold in the years to come. At 21, Princess Caroline of Monaco embarked on a romance that would captivate the world and ultimately end in scandal. In 1978, the young royal walked down the aisle of St. Nicholas Cathedral in Monaco, ready to begin her life with Philippe Junot, a dashing French businessman 17 years her senior. The lavish ceremony drew the eyes of the world, with dignitaries and celebrities flocking to witness what many hoped would be a modern-day royal love story. Beneath the glittering surface, however, whispers of concern echoed through the corridors of power. Junot's reputation as a charming playboy preceded him, raising eyebrows among the Monegasque elite and beyond. Sources close to the palace suggested that Princess Grace and Prince Rainier III harbored reservations about the match, wary of Junot's past and the significant age gap between the couple. Initially, Caroline and Philippe cut a glamorous figure on the international social scene. From the French Riviera to the ski slopes of Switzerland, they embodied the jet-setting lifestyle that captivated the public imagination. Yet, as the couple navigated their newfound celebrity, cracks began to appear in their union. The pressures of their high-profile status and differing expectations for married life began to take their toll. As months turned into years, the idyllic image of their marriage began to unravel at an alarming pace. Rumors of Junot's infidelities gained traction, leaving the princess increasingly isolated and disillusioned. The charming exterior that had once drawn Caroline now seemed to attract the attention of other women, further straining their relationship. The rapid demise of their marriage stemmed from a confluence of factors. The age difference, once overlooked in the flush of new love, became a widening chasm of experience and expectations. Juno's alleged unfaithfulness struck at the very foundation of their vows. Perhaps most significantly, the intense public interest that had initially fueled their romance now threatened to suffocate it entirely. By 1980, just 2 years after their wedding, Caroline and Philippe's marriage crumbled spectacularly. The divorce proceedings that followed were a stark contrast to the joyous celebration of their nuptials. Humiliating details emerged, with Juno himself adding fuel to the fire. In a shocking public statement, he claimed that Caroline had become jealous of his social interactions, suggesting that their marriage had been little more than a formality from the start. The media, once enamored with the glamorous couple, now feasted on the scandalous details of their separation. Juno attempted to salvage his reputation by blaming the press for creating an atmosphere of infidelity between them. For Caroline, however, the damage was irreparable. The young princess found herself facing the harsh realities of a failed marriage under the unforgiving spotlight of international attention. As the ink dried on their divorce papers, Caroline stood at a crossroads. Her dreams of marital bliss had shattered, leaving her to rebuild her life amidst intense public scrutiny. Little did she know that this personal tragedy was merely the prelude to an even greater storm that would soon engulf the Grimaldi family. The end of her marriage to Philippe Junot marked not just the closing of a chapter, but the beginning of a series of challenges that would test Caroline's resilience in ways she could never have imagined. Just as Caroline thought she had weathered the worst storm of her life, tragedy struck with a force that would leave the entire Principality of Monaco reeling. The date was September 13, 1982. A routine drive along the winding roads of the French Riviera was about to plunge the Grimaldi family into an abyss of grief and forever alter the course of Caroline's life. Princess Grace, accompanied by her younger daughter Stephanie, set out on what should have been a mundane journey back to Monaco. The sun-drenched coastline gave no hint of the darkness that was about to descend. As their car navigated the treacherous curves, something went terribly wrong. In a heart-stopping moment, the vehicle veered off the road and plummeted down a steep embankment, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. The hours that followed were a fog of uncertainty and mounting dread. As news of the accident spread, the people of Monaco held their collective breath, praying for a miracle. But fate had other plans. Despite valiant efforts to save her, Princess Grace succumbed to her injuries the following day, leaving behind a shattered family and a nation in mourning. Amidst the chaos and grief, it was Caroline who found herself thrust into an unexpected and pivotal role. As the first family member to hear Princess Stephanie's harrowing account of the crash, Caroline became the keeper of a tragic secret. Stephanie's words painted a chilling picture of their mother's final moments. "I can't stop, the brakes don't work," Grace had reportedly said in a panic, her last words forever etched in her daughter's memories. For Caroline, barely 25 years old and still nursing the wounds of her failed marriage, this new burden was almost too much to bear. The weight of her sister's traumatic experience, combined with the sudden loss of their mother, threatened to overwhelm her. But in the face of such devastating loss, Caroline found reserves of strength she never knew she possessed. As the Principality reeled from the shock of Grace's death, all eyes turned to the Grimaldi family. How would they navigate this unthinkable tragedy? It was in this moment of crisis that Caroline stepped up, revealing a grace and composure that belied her years. With her father, Prince Rainier III, consumed by grief, Caroline found herself taking on responsibilities that would have typically fallen to her mother. Sources close to the palace revealed that Caroline threw herself into her new duties with a determination that surprised even those who knew her best. From organizing state affairs to comforting her younger siblings, she became the glue that held the family together in their darkest hour. Prince Rainier himself later expressed his admiration, stating, "The way she is handling the jobs I have given her is a source of great satisfaction to me. But what was the personal cost of this sudden ascension to responsibility?" Behind closed doors, Caroline grappled with her own grief while presenting a stoic face to the world. The young princess who had once sought escape from royal duties now found herself embracing them as a lifeline. a way to honor her mother's memory and support her family. As Monaco mourned, Caroline navigated a new chapter of her life, one marked by both profound loss and unexpected growth. The tragedy that had shattered her world also forged her into a stronger, more resilient figure. The coming years would bring new challenges and responsibilities, testing Caroline's mettle in ways she could never have anticipated. But for now, she stood as a pillar of strength for her family and her country, a living testament to the indomitable spirit of the Grimaldi dynasty. In 1983, just as the wounds of her mother's tragic passing were beginning to heal, Princess Caroline of Monaco found herself swept up in a whirlwind romance that would once again capture the world's attention. Enter Stefano Casiraghi, a dashing Italian businessman whose charm and adventurous spirit quickly won Caroline's heart. Their courtship was a blur of stolen moments and passionate encounters, culminating in a lavish wedding ceremony at the princely palace of Monaco on December 29, 1983. The public's reaction to Caroline's swift remarriage was mixed. Some saw it as a beacon of hope, a sign that the princess was moving forward after the tragedies that had befallen her family. Others, however, whispered that perhaps she was rushing into things too quickly. Despite the scrutiny, Caroline remained determined to carve out a life of her own, away from the prying eyes of the media that had hounded her for so long. As the years passed, Caroline and Stefano appeared to have found their own slice of paradise. Their family grew with the arrivals of Andrea, Charlotte, and Pierre, and the couple was often seen doting on their children during family outings. Photographs of the Casiraghis vacationing on the French Riviera or attending royal events painted a picture of domestic bliss that seemed to defy the tumultuous history of Monaco's royal family. But even as Caroline reveled in her role as wife and mother, dark clouds were gathering on the horizon. Stefano's passion for speedboat racing, while thrilling, carried with it an undercurrent of danger that would prove impossible to ignore. Sources close to the family revealed that Caroline often expressed concern about her husband's high-risk hobby, but Stefano's love for the sport remained undiminished. On October 3, 1990, the unthinkable happened. As Stefano participated in the World Offshore Powerboat Championship off the coast of Monaco, his boat suddenly capsized during a race. The news sent shockwaves through the Principality and beyond. Despite frantic efforts to save him, Stefano Casiraghi was pronounced dead, leaving behind a devastated wife and 3 young children. The tragedy struck at the very heart of Caroline's world, shattering the happiness she had fought so hard to rebuild. At just 33 years old, she found herself a widow, facing the daunting task of raising 3 children alone while navigating the treacherous waters of royal life and public scrutiny. In the aftermath of Stefano's death, Caroline made the difficult decision to retreat from Monaco, seeking solace in a secluded village in France. This self-imposed exile was a testament to the depth of her grief and her fierce determination to protect her children from the media frenzy that followed their father's passing. Despite the immense pain of losing her husband, Caroline remained a pillar of strength for her family. Her brother, Prince Albert, later commended her resilience, noting how well she had raised their children in the absence of their father. Yet, the toll of this second devastating loss was evident to those closest to her. As Caroline faced the daunting prospect of rebuilding her life once again, questions swirled about her future. How would she navigate single parenthood in the spotlight of royal life? Would she ever find happiness again after enduring such profound loss? The coming years would test Caroline's strength and resilience in ways she could never have imagined, as she sought to honor Stefano's memory while forging a new path for herself and her children. For Princess Caroline of Monaco, the struggle for privacy has been a lifelong battle, waged against an ever-present and often ruthless media machine. While the glare of the spotlight had always been part of her royal existence, it was during her tumultuous teenage years that Caroline first felt the full force of public scrutiny. As she navigated the choppy waters of adolescence, every misstep and youthful indiscretion became fodder for sensationalist headlines and invasive paparazzi shots. But the true extent of media intrusion would reveal itself in increasingly alarming ways as Caroline entered adulthood. Perhaps one of the most shocking incidents came in the form of fabricated nude beach photos, allegedly concocted for blackmail purposes. This wasn't just a violation of privacy. It was a calculated attack on Caroline's reputation and personal dignity. The princess found herself in the unenviable position of having to defend herself against images that never existed, all while navigating the very real challenges of royal life and motherhood. As the years passed, Caroline's battle with the press only intensified. Unauthorized photographs of her children became a particular point of contention, with the princess fiercely determined to shield her young ones from the relentless media glare she herself had endured. This protective instinct would ultimately lead to a landmark legal case in 2004, when Caroline took on a German tabloid for publishing photos of her children without consent. The 2004 case marked a significant victory for Caroline in her ongoing struggle for privacy. The European Court of Human Rights ruled in her favor, setting a precedent that would have far-reaching implications for celebrity privacy rights across the continent. But this triumph was far from the end of Caroline's legal battles. In 2012, she found herself once again in court, this time fighting against the publication of vacation photos featuring her and her husband. This time, however, the courts did not side with the princess, highlighting the complex and often unpredictable nature of privacy laws in the digital age. As Caroline continued to navigate these legal minefields, questions arose about the toll this constant scrutiny was taking on her personal life and mental health. How does one maintain a sense of normalcy when every aspect of life is potential tabloid fodder? Sources close to the princess revealed that the pressure of living in the public eye had been a significant source of stress throughout her life, affecting everything from her relationships to her day-to-day activities. In rare moments of candor, Caroline herself has spoken about the weight of this constant observation. "It's exhausting," she once confided to a trusted journalist. "To always be on guard, to wonder if every stranger with a phone is a potential paparazzo, it changes you." These words offer a glimpse into the personal cost of Caroline's public persona, revealing a woman who has had to develop a thick skin while still maintaining her grace and dignity. As we move further into the digital age, the implications of Caroline's fight for privacy continue to evolve. Her battles have not only shaped her own life, but have also contributed to broader discussions about the rights of public figures in an era of ubiquitous social media and instant information sharing. While Caroline may have won some significant victories, the war for privacy in the public eye is far from over. As Caroline continued her tireless fight against media intrusion, little did she know that a new chapter in her personal life was about to unfold, one that would once again thrust her into the spotlight she so desperately sought to escape. In 1999, just as the world was bracing for a new millennium, Princess Caroline of Monaco embarked on a journey that would once again thrust her into the spotlight she had long sought to escape. Enter Prince Ernst August of Hanover, a man whose royal lineage stretched back centuries and whose reputation for controversy preceded him. The union of these two European royals promised to be a match made in aristocratic heaven, but as history has shown, fairy tales rarely unfold as expected in the world of the rich and titled. The circumstances surrounding Caroline and Ernst August's relationship were shrouded in whispers and speculation from the start. Sources close to the couple revealed that their courtship had been swift and intense, with the prince sweeping Caroline off her feet with his charm and shared noble heritage. But even as wedding bells chimed, rumors swirled about the true nature of their rushed nuptials. Was Caroline pregnant, as some tabloids boldly claimed? Or was this simply a case of two lonely hearts finding solace in each other's company? Their wedding in January 1999 was a relatively low-key affair by royal standards, perhaps a nod to the controversies that had already begun to shadow their relationship. Caroline, now bestowed with the title of Princess of Hanover, seemed to have found a measure of happiness after the tragic loss of her second husband, Stefano Casiraghi. For a brief moment, it appeared that the princess might finally have her happy ending. The early years of their marriage painted a picture of royal bliss. Caroline and Ernst August were often seen at high-profile events, their public appearances marked by affectionate gestures and shared laughter. The birth of their daughter, Princess Alexandra, in 1999 seemed to cement their bond. But beneath the veneer of marital harmony, cracks were already beginning to form in the foundation of their union. What began as whispers soon grew into a cacophony of scandal that would rock the royal houses of both Monaco and Hanover. Ernst August's behavior became increasingly erratic and public, casting a long shadow over Caroline's carefully cultivated image. The prince's penchant for controversy reached new heights in 1999, when he was accused of assaulting a journalist with an umbrella, an incident that made headlines across Europe and beyond. But that wasn't the only skeleton to come rattling out of the royal closet. In 2000, Ernst August shocked onlookers and diplomatic circles alike when he was photographed urinating on the Turkish pavilion at the Expo 2000 in Hanover. This vulgar display not only embarrassed Caroline, but also caused significant diplomatic tension between Germany and Turkey. The incident left many wondering how the refined Princess of Monaco could reconcile her husband's boorish behavior with her own impeccable public image. As the years wore on, Ernst August's scandals continued to pile up. In 2004, he found himself embroiled in yet another controversy when he was accused of assaulting a nightclub owner in Kenya. The incident not only further tarnished the prince's reputation, but also raised serious questions about the stability of his marriage to Caroline. Sources close to the princess revealed that she was increasingly distressed by her husband's behavior, torn between her duty as a wife and her desire to protect her family and her own reputation. The strain on their relationship became impossible to ignore, and in 2009, Caroline and Ernst August officially separated. While not divorced, the princess retreated to Monaco with their daughter, effectively ending their life together. This separation marked a significant shift in Caroline's public image, as she sought to distance herself from the controversies that had plagued her marriage. As Caroline worked to rebuild her life in the wake of yet another failed relationship, she found herself once again at a crossroads. The tumultuous years with Ernst August had taken their toll, but they had also reinforced Caroline's resilience and determination. Little did she know that as she navigated the aftermath of her third marriage, her role within the Monegasque royal family was about to undergo a dramatic transformation, one that would test her strength and adaptability like never before. The year 2005 marked a pivotal moment for Monaco's royal family. With the passing of Prince Rainier III, the tiny principality's future hung in the balance. Caroline, long accustomed to supporting roles, suddenly found herself thrust into a position she never expected. But would this newfound importance be fleeting? Following her father's death, Princess Caroline assumed the role of heir presumptive to Monaco's throne. This unexpected turn of events placed her squarely in the line of succession, a position that carried both privilege and immense responsibility. For years, Caroline had been content to work behind the scenes, focusing on her philanthropic endeavors and raising her children. Now, she faced the very real possibility of one day ruling the principality her family had governed for centuries. But fate, as it often does in royal circles, had other plans. In 2011, Prince Albert II, Caroline's younger brother and the reigning monarch of Monaco, married Charlene Wittstock in a lavish ceremony that captivated the world. The union of the longtime bachelor prince to the South African Olympic swimmer set the stage for a dramatic shift in the Monegasque royal hierarchy. As Charlene stepped into her role as princess consort, the dynamics within the royal family began to change. Sources close to the palace whispered of tension between Caroline and her new sister-in-law. The once close relationship between Caroline and Albert reportedly cooled as he navigated the challenges of married life and the expectations of producing an heir. The birth of Albert and Charlene's twins in 2014 sent shockwaves through the tiny principality. With the arrival of Prince Jacques and Princess Gabriella, Caroline's position as heir presumptive vanished overnight. The princess, who had spent nearly a decade preparing for the possibility of ascending to the throne, now found herself pushed further down the line of succession. How would Caroline adapt to this seismic shift in her royal standing? Those who knew the princess well spoke of her grace and resilience in the face of change. Rather than bristling at her altered status, Caroline appeared to embrace her new role with characteristic poise. Stepping back from the pressures of potential rulership, Caroline redoubled her efforts in the realms of philanthropy and cultural preservation. She threw herself into her work with Aide Mondiale, the children's rights organization founded by her mother, Princess Grace. Caroline's dedication to humanitarian causes became even more pronounced, as if to prove that her value to Monaco extended far beyond her place in the line of succession. But this wasn't the only area where Caroline's influence continued to be felt. As a royal aunt to Albert's children, she took on the role of family matriarch with aplomb. Sources close to the palace revealed that Caroline often provided guidance to her brother on matters of protocol and tradition, drawing on her decades of experience in the public eye. Prince Albert himself acknowledged the importance of Caroline's counsel, once stating, "I can fight in my wife as well, but Caroline's my sister and I've known her a little bit longer." This candid admission hinted at the complex dynamics within the royal family, where long-standing bonds sometimes clashed with new allegiances. Despite her altered position, Caroline's importance to Monaco remains undimmed. Her presence at state functions and her tireless work on behalf of the principality serve as a testament to her enduring commitment to her family's legacy. Royal watchers note that Caroline's ability to navigate this transition with grace has only enhanced her standing among the Monegasque people. As Caroline settled into her new role, balancing family obligations with her philanthropic pursuits, it seemed that she had found a measure of peace in her ever-evolving royal life. But the princess who had weathered so many storms would soon face yet another personal challenge, one that would test her resilience in ways she could never have anticipated. In the glittering world of Monaco's royalty, appearance is everything. But what happens when a princess's crowning glory begins to vanish? Caroline's next battle would be fought not in the court of public opinion, but in the mirror. The year 1996 brought a new and deeply personal challenge to Princess Caroline of Monaco. As she approached her 40th birthday, the princess began to notice an alarming change in her appearance. Thinning hair, once easily concealed with clever styling, became increasingly difficult to hide. The diagnosis was swift and unforgiving: alopecia, a condition that causes hair loss. For a woman whose every public appearance was scrutinized, this revelation was nothing short of devastating. Sources close to the princess revealed that the onset of alopecia coincided with a period of intense personal upheaval. Speculation ran rampant. Was this a delayed reaction to the tragic death of her husband, Stefano Casiraghi, 6 years earlier? Or perhaps the cumulative stress of life in the royal fishbowl had finally taken its toll? The media, ever hungry for a royal scandal, pounced on Caroline's changing appearance with voracious enthusiasm. Paparazzi lenses zoomed in on her thinning hairline, while tabloid headlines screamed speculation about her health. The princess, who had always maintained a carefully cultivated image of grace and poise, now found herself at the center of a storm of public curiosity, and at times cruel commentary. But Caroline, true to her royal upbringing, refused to cower in the face of this new challenge. She continued to attend public events and carry out her duties, head held high despite the whispers that followed her. Her brother, Prince Albert, stepped in to quell the growing rumors. In a 1995 interview with People magazine, he assured the public that Caroline's overall health was fine, attributing her hair loss to a dermatological issue rather than a more serious condition. Behind the scenes, however, the toll on Caroline's mental health was significant. How does one maintain self-confidence when every glance in the mirror serves as a reminder of what's been lost? For a woman who had spent her entire life in the public eye, this involuntary transformation struck at the very core of her identity. Yet it was in this moment of vulnerability that Caroline's true strength shone through. Rather than retreating from public view, she chose to face her condition head-on. Her decision to appear at events without attempting to completely conceal her hair loss was nothing short of revolutionary in the image-obsessed world of royalty. As Caroline navigated this deeply personal struggle in the unforgiving glare of the public eye, something unexpected began to happen. Her graceful handling of the situation resonated with people far beyond the borders of Monaco. Women struggling with their own hair loss found an unlikely role model in this princess who refused to let alopecia define her. The broader implications of Caroline's experience were profound. In a world where public figures are often expected to present a facade of perfection, her willingness to be seen as she was, vulnerable, human, and still regal, challenged long-held notions about beauty and worth. Her battle with alopecia became a powerful statement about the unrealistic expectations placed on women, especially those in the public eye. As Caroline continued to navigate this personal battle, she unknowingly paved the way for a more open dialogue about health challenges faced by public figures. Her experience highlighted the often overlooked human side of royalty, reminding the world that even those born into privilege are not immune to life's trials. While Caroline grappled with her own personal demons, a new chapter was unfolding in the Grimaldi family saga. Her children, once shielded from the public gaze, were coming of age and stepping into the spotlight. Little did Caroline know that her own struggles had prepared her for the challenges that lay ahead as she guided her children through the treacherous waters of royal celebrity. As Caroline's children emerged from the protective cocoon of childhood, they faced a world eager to dissect their every move. But would the lessons of their mother's tumultuous past be enough to shield them from the harsh realities of royal life? The Casiraghi siblings were about to learn that being born into privilege comes with a hefty price tag. Andrea, Charlotte, and Pierre Casiraghi spent their early years relatively sheltered from the public eye. Caroline, drawing on her own experiences, sought to provide them with as normal a childhood as possible within the gilded confines of Monaco's royal circles. But as they blossomed into adulthood, the media's fascination with these young royals grew exponentially. The eldest, Andrea, stepped onto the world stage with a quiet confidence that belied his years. His pursuit of higher education at the American University of Paris and later, an MBA from the University of Monaco, spoke to a desire to carve out his own path beyond the boundaries of royal duty. Yet, even as he focused on his studies, the paparazzi's lenses were never far behind, eager to capture every moment of the young prince's life. Charlotte, the middle child, emerged as a fashion icon and equestrian enthusiast. Her striking resemblance to her grandmother, Grace Kelly, only fueled the public's fascination. As she attended the University of Paris and became increasingly involved in cultural and artistic initiatives, Charlotte found herself walking a tightrope between royal obligations and personal passions. The media scrutinized her every outfit, relationship, and career move, drawing comparisons to her mother's own journey in the spotlight. But it was Pierre, the youngest of the trio, who would thrust the Casiraghi name into the headlines for all the wrong reasons. In 2012, a night out in Manhattan took a dramatic turn when Pierre became embroiled in a nightclub brawl that left him briefly hospitalized. The incident sent shockwaves through Monaco's royal circles and served as a stark reminder of the pitfalls of privilege and public scrutiny. How did Caroline guide her children through these treacherous waters of royal celebrity? Sources close to the family revealed that the princess drew on her own experiences to counsel her children. She emphasized the importance of maintaining a sense of self beyond their public personas, a lesson she had learned through years of personal trials and tribulations. Despite the challenges, the Casiraghi siblings have managed to strike a delicate balance between their royal duties and personal lives. In a rare moment of candor, Charlotte once stated, "We are not just royals, we are also individuals with our own paths." This sentiment echoes throughout the siblings' approach to public life as they engage in philanthropic efforts while also pursuing their individual interests. The contrast between Caroline's children and other young royals in Europe is striking. While many of their counterparts have fully embraced traditional royal roles, the Casiraghis have forged a unique path. Andrea's business pursuits, Charlotte's involvement in the arts, and even Pierre's missteps have all contributed to a more nuanced public image of the next generation of Monaco's royal family. As Caroline watches her children navigate the complexities of royal life, she must surely reflect on her own journey. The lessons learned through her personal struggles with the media, her battle with alopecia, and the tragic losses she has endured have undoubtedly shaped her approach to guiding her children. But even as she helps them chart their course, Caroline finds herself drawn to an unexpected source of solace and friendship, one that would add yet another fascinating chapter to her already compelling life story. In the glittering world of haute couture, an unlikely alliance was forming. Who could have predicted that a fashion icon and a princess would forge a bond so deep it would reshape the landscape of style and royalty? As Caroline sought solace from her personal struggles, she found an unexpected confidant in the most surprising of places. Princess Caroline of Monaco and Karl Lagerfeld, the legendary creative director of Chanel, first crossed paths in the world of high fashion. Their initial encounters, marked by mutual respect and admiration, quickly blossomed into a friendship that would span decades. But what drew these two seemingly disparate figures together? At first glance, their connection appeared to be rooted in their shared passion for fashion and design. Caroline's innate sense of style perfectly complemented Lagerfeld's visionary approach to couture. Together, they created stunning ensembles that pushed the boundaries of royal fashion, transforming Caroline into a true style icon for a new generation. But as their relationship deepened, it became clear that their bond went far beyond the superficial world of fabric and sequins. Sources close to the pair revealed that Lagerfeld and Caroline found in each other kindred spirits, both navigating the often treacherous waters of public life with grace and wit. Their conversations, once centered on hemlines and color palettes, evolved into deep discussions about art, literature, and the weight of living in the public eye. Their collaborations reached new heights at the 2013 Rose Ball, a prestigious event celebrating the 150th anniversary of the Monte Carlo Société des Bains de Mer. Lagerfeld's contributions to this grand affair highlighted the depth of their friendship, as he worked tirelessly to ensure every detail reflected Caroline's vision and Monaco's rich cultural heritage. But what made this friendship so enduring and meaningful for both parties? According to those in their inner circle, it was a shared understanding of the pressures of fame and the value of true loyalty. In a world where alliances often shifted with the tides of public opinion, Caroline and Lagerfeld remained steadfast in their support for one another. Lagerfeld himself once remarked on Caroline's grace and intelligence, qualities he found increasingly rare in the world of celebrity. "She is the most cultured princess in the world," he declared, his words carrying the weight of genuine admiration rather than mere flattery. This mutual respect formed the bedrock of their enduring bond. Their friendship wasn't confined to the glittering events of the fashion calendar. Reports suggested that Lagerfeld and Caroline often enjoyed quieter moments together, sharing meals and attending cultural events away from the prying eyes of the paparazzi. These private encounters allowed them to drop their public personas and simply enjoy each other's company, a luxury rarely afforded to those in their positions. When Karl Lagerfeld passed away in 2019, the fashion world mourned the loss of a visionary. But for Caroline, the grief was deeply personal. She had lost not just a collaborator, but a true friend who had been a constant presence through some of the most tumultuous years of her life. In the aftermath of Lagerfeld's death, Caroline's public appearances were marked by a quiet sadness, a testament to the depth of their connection. Reports emerged that Lagerfeld had left several pieces of furniture to Caroline in his will, a final gesture of affection that spoke volumes about the nature of their relationship. As Caroline navigated the loss of her dear friend, she found herself once again facing the challenges of her royal role. The lessons learned from her friendship with Lagerfeld, resilience, creativity, and the importance of staying true to oneself, would prove invaluable as she continued to serve as a pillar of strength for Monaco and her family. Just as Caroline thought she had settled into her role as royal aunt and philanthropist, fate had other plans for the Princess of Monaco. In 2021, a health crisis struck at the heart of the principality, thrusting Caroline once again into the spotlight she had so carefully avoided. Princess Charlene, wife of Prince Albert II, found herself trapped in South Africa due to a severe ear, nose, and throat infection that prevented her from flying. What began as a routine trip to her homeland quickly spiraled into a months-long absence that left Monaco reeling. As whispers of marital discord and political intrigue swirled through the tiny nation's streets, all eyes turned to Caroline to fill the void left by Charlene's departure. How would the seasoned princess navigate this delicate situation? Sources close to the palace revealed that Caroline approached her renewed duties with characteristic grace and discretion. She attended official events alongside her brother, Prince Albert, presenting a united front to a public hungry for reassurance. From charity galas to National Day celebrations, Caroline stepped seamlessly into her former role as Monaco's First Lady, all while taking great care not to overshadow her absent sister-in-law. But this wasn't merely a return to familiar territory for Caroline. The dynamics within the royal family had shifted dramatically since her days as heir presumptive. How would she balance supporting her brother without overstepping the boundaries of Charlene's position? According to palace insiders, Caroline walked this tightrope with remarkable skill, offering guidance to Albert while steadfastly respecting Charlene's place as princess consort. As the months wore on and Charlene's absence stretched from weeks to seasons, Caroline's presence at key events became increasingly vital. She stood by Albert's side at the Monaco Red Cross Ball, a highlight of the Principality's social calendar. At the Monaco National Day celebrations, it was Caroline who helped wrangle her young niece and nephew, Prince Jacques and Princess Gabriella, as they waved to the crowds from the palace balcony. Each appearance served as a reminder of Caroline's enduring importance to the Grimaldi dynasty. But what toll did this unexpected return to the spotlight take on Caroline herself? Sources suggest that the princess, who had grown accustomed to a more private life focused on her philanthropic work, found the renewed scrutiny challenging. Yet, true to form, she bore this burden with quiet dignity, never allowing her personal feelings to overshadow her duty to Monaco and her family. The public's reaction to Caroline's handling of this delicate situation was overwhelmingly positive. Monegasques, long accustomed to the princess's steady presence, welcomed her increased visibility with open arms. International royal watchers praised her ability to provide stability during a time of uncertainty, with many drawing parallels to her role following the death of Princess Grace decades earlier. As Caroline navigated these family challenges with her characteristic poise, she never lost sight of her true passion. Even as she fulfilled the duties of a stand-in First Lady, the princess continued to champion her philanthropic causes, proving that her commitment to service extended far beyond the confines of royal obligation. This unwavering dedication to both family and philanthropy served as a powerful reminder of Caroline's resilience in the face of adversity. Little did Caroline know that as she weathered this latest storm, her lifetime of service was about to take on new dimensions, cementing her legacy as one of Monaco's most enduring and beloved figures. Behind the glittering facade of royal life, Princess Caroline of Monaco has quietly woven a tapestry of compassion and service that spans decades. Her journey into philanthropy began in 1963 with the founding of Aide Mondiale, an organization dedicated to promoting children's rights and welfare globally. This early foray into charitable work would set the stage for a lifetime of giving that has touched countless lives across the world. But what drives a princess to dedicate her life to serving others? Sources close to Caroline suggest that her passion for philanthropy stems from a deep-seated desire to use her privileged position for the greater good. This commitment, however, has not come without its challenges. Balancing the demands of royal duties, personal life, and charitable work has been a constant juggling act for the princess. Caroline's approach to philanthropy is anything but hands-off. In 1981, she established the Jeunes J'écoute Association, pioneering a youth hotline that allowed adolescents to confidentially discuss their concerns with trained professionals. This initiative showcased Caroline's proactive approach to addressing youth issues, a cause that has remained close to her heart throughout her life. The princess's philanthropic reach extends far beyond the borders of Monaco. As patron of the Peter Lamarin Trust, Caroline has facilitated canal boat trips for individuals with illnesses or disabilities, providing them with unique experiences that offer respite and joy. These personal touches highlight Caroline's commitment to making a tangible difference in people's lives. But what impact has Caroline's work had on both local and global scales? In 2006, UNICEF recognized her tireless efforts with the Children's Champion Award, underscoring her significant impact on vulnerable children worldwide. This accolade is just one of many that Caroline has received throughout her philanthropic journey, including the Grand Cross of the Order of St. Charles and the Commander of the Order of Cultural Merit. Perhaps the most powerful testament to Caroline's impact comes from the stories of those whose lives she has touched. One beneficiary of Aide Mondiale's programs, a young girl from a war-torn region, shared how Caroline's organization provided her with access to education and healthcare, changing the trajectory of her life. Princess Caroline didn't just offer help, the girl revealed. She gave us hope for a future we couldn't even imagine. Caroline's dedication to humanitarian work took on a global dimension in 2003, when she was appointed as a UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador. This role allowed her to advocate for causes close to her heart on an international stage, further expanding her influence in the realm of humanitarian work. As we reflect on Caroline's life of service, it becomes clear that her legacy extends far beyond the glittering world of royal galas and state dinners. Her unwavering commitment to philanthropy and cultural preservation has left an indelible mark on Monaco and beyond. From championing children's rights to supporting educational institutions like the International School of Paris, Caroline has demonstrated that true nobility lies in service to others. Looking to the future, what lies ahead for this resilient princess? As Caroline continues to navigate her evolving role within the royal family, one thing remains certain. Her passion for making a difference shows no signs of waning. With each passing year, she adds new chapters to a philanthropic legacy that will undoubtedly inspire generations to come. Princess Caroline's life, a tapestry woven with threads of tragedy and triumph, stands as a testament to her indomitable spirit. From the gilded halls of Monaco's palace to the trenches of humanitarian work, Caroline has navigated a path fraught with personal loss and public scrutiny. Yet through it all, she has emerged as a beacon of resilience and grace. Despite the challenges that have threatened to overshadow her royal duties, Caroline's commitment to philanthropy has never wavered. Her work with Ahmad Mondial and her role as a UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador have left an indelible mark on the lives of countless individuals around the world. This dedication to service, coupled with her efforts to preserve Monaco's cultural heritage, ensures that Caroline's impact will resonate far beyond the borders of her tiny principality. As Caroline continues to evolve within the ever-changing dynamics of the Grimaldi family, she remains a symbol of strength and adaptability. Her story, far from reaching its conclusion, promises new chapters of service and inspiration. In a world often enamored with the glitz of royal life, Caroline stands as a reminder that true nobility lies not in titles, but in unwavering commitment to one's family, country, and fellow human beings.